am Dr. Amarjit Kaur. I am Professor of Accounting and Dean of School of Management at Gurugram University. I am very happy to be here with you to talk on Purchase Return Book and Account. In the next few minutes, we are going to discuss what are purchases, what are the reasons for purchase returns, how do we prepare purchase return book, how do we prepare purchase return account and other related account in the books of a company or a business. So let's talk about what are purchase returns and why do they happen, why do they occur. So purchase returns, as the name suggests, means a business is returning something out of the purchases which are made on credit. So please pay attention to the last word I uttered. I am saying those returns which are out of purchases, but the purchases which were made on credit is important. It means if I have purchased something on cash and I am returning out of those purchases, I am not going to consider those returns in the purchase return book. Thus, the purchases out of only the credit purchases, if we are returning something, we are going to return in this purchase return book. The next question comes in, what are the reasons for purchase returns? There are a couple of reasons, as you may understand. First of all, you would be returning if you receive a product or goods which are defective, which are damaged. So we generally order from Amazon, from Flipkart, and in case our product is damaged, during the transit position and we received a damaged product, we tend to return it. Right? So this is the practice in general we are doing as customers. The same way, any business, if they receive or if they purchase something from any supplier and those goods when received are found damaged or defective, then a business certainly is going to return them. So that is the first major reason for purchase return. The second reason could be that we received delivery, the goods were not damaged, they were intact, they were as per specification, but the date of the delivery was delayed. Let's say I was manufacturing a set of I was manufacturing shirts and I was using a particular design, a particular motif on those shirts, and I was supposed to deliver those shirts to my buyers, let's say on 1st January. And I ordered for that motif which was supposed to be received by 15th of December. So since my production is already going on, unless I receive my motif, I cannot complete my production and supply to my buyer further as per the commitment. So my delivery would be delayed because of the delivery of motif I received is delayed by you. Right? So I will so then I may request the buyer that this time I am supplying the shirts without motif, and if he accepts, I will complete my production and deliver my the lot of shirts, whatever the number it may have, to the buyer. So which means I may deny to buy motifs from you because they were intact, they were as per design, they were not damaged, but I received them after the date, let's say 13th of December, 15th of December, whichever the date we agreed in our purchases. That could be another reason for purchase returns. Alright, so moving to the next reason, if you may think, is another very simple reason. We received product, they are not damaged, they are received on time even, but they are not as per specifications. What does it mean? It means, let's say I ordered for a motif of 2 by 2 inches because of the design of the shirt, because of the size of the shirt I was manufacturing. So the motif I ordered was 2 by 2 inches, but when I received it, it is 2 by 3 inches. Right? So maybe that motif was to be put on the pocket of the shirt. Right? And this 2 by 3 cannot fit on that pocket which I am in the process of manufacturing. So certainly I have no choice than to return the motif which a supplier delivered to me on time and is not damaged even, but it is not as per specification. This is the example of a shirt. Now you think of an example of scientific products, machines, plants. In those products we need specific raw material, specification of any part of the machine needed to be as per the design. So we cannot fit even a small screw of a small or a bigger size. So we have to have the product received very much as per specification. So if the product is not as per specification, the purchaser, the buyer is certainly going to return it. So I, as a company, if I have purchased it, I am going to return the product because it is not as per specification. And sometimes it happens. I have seen at home, even in one of my family member orders even ice cream. I ordered, for example, butterscotch, and the delivery I received is on vanilla. We will return that, and as you know, it has been accepted. So that is not as per specification. So you can link it to your daily basis example that it happens even at homes for times, not only in business. So that is a reason for returning the purchases. Then it could be that the quality or the quantity is not as per invoice. We received product on time, the specifications are fine, but the quantity, I ordered 1,000 units and my invoice says 10,000 units, 10, so my invoice is for 10,000 units. My quantity actually received is 1,000 units. There's a variation. So I have a choice, either I return the product or I return the invoice. It will depend upon what kind of arrangements I have with the supplier. So that is another reason that we tend to return the goods. Then there's a likelihood that your product is received on time, everything is fine, but there's a breach of trust. Let's say I requested for X particular, I am in the process of developing a vaccine for COVID. I am just giving one example because this is the COVID time. And let's say I am going to use a particular chemical in my vaccine. So I asked somebody to supply me, some supplier, the chemical manufacturer, and it was written clearly in the agreement of sale and purchase between two of us that the seller will not disclose to anybody in the market that X chemical has been ordered by me, because I am in the process of developing the vaccine. I want to get it patented, and thereafter it will be known in the market what all content it has. So let's say the seller who sent you the chemical, he discloses it to anybody, to media, to your competitor, or to anyone. So what will happen then? You may not like to use that particular chemical. You may like to look for a replacement if possible. And this is a breach of trust. You will simply return the chemical. There could be 1,000 such examples, right? So that's another reason that the goods are returned by one company to the suppliers. And then lastly, there's the likelihood that specifications are not matching at all. So there's not a little variation, it's entirely a different product. You ordered for pizza and you received French fries. There's no question of that. Product is same. Not only the product is same, different in specification, it's altogether a different product. That happens. The suppliers was supposed to send that product to another buyer in some other city, but they have sent it to you by mistake, right? So these are the reasons that purchases are returned. But as I said earlier, please mind it that we are going to consider those returns out of purchases made on credit only for the purpose of purchase return book. Alright. So moving further, the question is, what is purchase return book? As the name suggests, this is a special purpose or subsidiary book which is used to record transactions which pertain to return of goods and services, right? So please note it down that purchase return book doesn't work as an account, unlike a cash book which works as an account as well. The purchase return books only works as a journal, as a book, and not as an account. which means that we need to prepare an account separately if we are keeping a purchase return book. This book is also known as return outward book. So we are returning outside, out of our business to somebody else. So my inventory, my goods are going out, right? So that's why we call it as returns outward book. And when we return to somebody outsider, to whom we have purchased from, so we issue a note which is known as debit note, right? So a debit note is prepared and which is being sent to the supplier. So saying that your account has been debited. He was our creditor. We purchased from him. We were supposed to pay to him. Okay. But now I am returning some part of the purchases made by me. So that would be taken as purchase return, and the note or the message which I sent saying that you owe me back this much. I have purchased from you. So let's say my purchases were 10,000 rupees worth, and out of that I have returned the goods 2,000 rupees. Right? So earlier I was creditor. I was supposed to pay you. Now you become debtor for 2,000. You are supposed to pay me back, or you are supposed to give me goods worth 2,000 in future. So that's why we sent a debit note. So in my books, I am sending a debit book. In your, so you are going to receive a credit. So you are basically having a credit in your favor, but you issue a debit note to the supplier whom you are returning. Okay. Now, the question is, purchase return book is closed at the accounting period, and the balance, whatever, because we may have returned to 10 people. All those transactions which have been recorded in the purchase return book for a particular period, generally it is 1 month for a business. So that is going to be, transferred to the purchase return account at the end of the accounting period. Alright, so this period may generally be a month, but it could be any duration. It will all depend upon the number of the transaction a business have, or in which he is returning to people. Okay, so the number of business and the nature of business will decide the duration or the length of the accounting period for purchase return book closing. Okay, because at the end we are transferring this amount to purchase return account. Now, so as I said, the debit note, so we will talk about what debit note is little more in detail. So it's a document, debit note is in itself is a document. So we call it as a bill as well as, or we can call it as a statement. This is sent to the person to whom goods are returned, right? So this statement informs that the supplier's account is debited to the extent of the value of goods returned, right? So earlier when he supplied you the books, his account was credited, and when we are returning something out of the credit purchases, we would debit his account. So that's why, so it is going to be known as debit note. Alright, I have seen people confused with debit note and credit note. So just take it a very simple way. Creditors are the people whom you owe, you mean the business owes, right? And debtors are the people who owes to us, who are going to pay us. So that's how, so debit and debtors are somehow, have been derived from the same concept, same note. So you can try to understand, remember it this way. Now coming to the format, as I said that we will be discussing the format, and then we will take few examples to understand how do we actually record in the purchase return book and account. So here is the format in front of you. Generally it has 5 columns. We may like to prepare a last column which would be for remarks. So in that case it would be 6 columns. So here's the format having 5 columns in front of you. The first column is date. Here we write the date when we are returning. If I am returning on 10th of January, 10th of July, 10th of September, I am going to put the date in this column. because different transactions would have different dates. So all the dates are going to be recorded, and we are going to record in a chronological order in this date column. It means I am going to record the transactions, day wise in a month. On 1st January, 2nd January, 3rd January, 4th January, like that. So it is going to be date wise recording in this book as we do in a journal proper. The second column is particulars or details. You may like to write any word. So in this particulars, we write the detail of the seller, name of the company who sold us. We are returning out of our purchases. It means we purchase from somebody. So that somebody is supplier, that somebody is seller. Okay. So whosoever has sold us, his name is going to the name of the company, name of the proprietor or firm or partnership firm, whatever the nature of the business is going to be written here in this column. And we do write the description as well. For example, 10 tables return, 20 booklets return, 15 mobile handsets return, whatever the name of the product, along with the unit price, we are going to put in the particulars column. And then in the third column, ledger folio, this will be filled later on when we are transferring the amount of or the balance of purchase book to the purchase account. So in that we will be preparing journal folio column. In the purchase account, here we have ledger folio column. So this ledger folio column will remain blank at the time of recording in this book. Coming to the fourth column, this fourth column is debit notes. So different note numbers, because each transaction we are returning, may not pertain to the same supplier. We may have different transactions for different suppliers. So here we put the debit note number 4, 5, 10, 20, whichever number it may have. So generally companies put alphanumeral numbers. So where we have alphabet as well as the number. Some companies only put numbers. So this debit note, it just all depends upon the practice. So here it comes the debit note, and the last column would have the exact value of the goods returned to the supplier. So the amount column, the fifth column, would have the value of the goods returned. Okay. Now, as I said, there could be sixth column as well, which I will show you when I discuss few examples. In that case, we put the remarks. Generally business may like to put the reasons for returning the goods in the remarks. So we describes why do we return, why I'm returning. This is for your own records. Your auditor wants to match. Your auditor wants to find out why actual the goods have been returned or not. They would like to verify few transactions, right? So here the reason has been written, and that remark columns helps an accountant, a manager to analyze transactions. Now, so say for example, in a 1 month's time, I have ordered 10 deliveries or 10 requests, 10 orders were placed to one particular company. Out of 10, 7 were returned because of one reason or the other reason, or for a particular reason. So if I see as a manager, if I see as a purchase manager, if I see that out of 10, 7 returns were made to the same company, which means 70% returns. It's a very high percentage. It means that supplier is not reliable. I need to look for an alternative for that supplier. So that remark column could be helpful for managerial decisions. So that's why the businesses have started putting up remarks column. Right? Now we will take up some example. So this is small caselet. So I have a look at this case. Enter the following transactions in the purchase return books of Messrs. Nakul and Brothers for January 2021. So January 1st, the first transaction took place. It says, return to Aman and Brothers 4 clutch plates at the rate of 250 each, which were not in accordance with order, right? So the reason is that they were not as per the order. You may have ordered something else, You may have placed order for clutch plates for example Honda Amaze, and the delivery you received, the clutch plates were for WagonR, right? So they are not as per the order. So my order said 4 clutch plates, supply me by this date, and I am going to use those clutch plates for Honda Amaze. But the actual plates, because 2 cars are of different segment, different make even, right? So we do not expect that clutch plate of X model will fit in the Y model. So I am going to return that. So that's the reason that I am returning on January 1st to this Messrs. Aman and Brother. This is the first example. The second example is on January 10th. It says returned to Nepal car accessories, 2 brake shoes, which were at the rate of 400 each, and 10 rear view mirrors at the rate of 350 each due to inferior quality. Now this time in this example, what I am doing, I am returning 2 brake shoes. It means the company which we are taking is into the they are into car repairs, car change car sales and service, etc. Right? So this company Nepal Car Accessories, they supplied you brake shoes, and 400 each means 800 worth, and 10 rear view mirrors which were of 350 each, and the quality of both the products you are returning because of the quality. So the quality of both the products were not as per the expectations or the specifications we gave. So quality was inferior. So there could be, generally if you go around, generally the car markets, if the sales and service is not by a company, if you go to just a vendor, so they do have local supplies. So and local supplies come in different quality ranges. So I ordered for X quality, I received Y quality. That's why I am returning. So this is the second example in the case. Now let's talk about how do we put it in the purchase returns book. So there's a solution in front of you. So I'm showing you here in the solution. As you notice, I have prepared consciously 6 columns: date, particulars, ledger folio, debit note, amount column, and remarks, right? So 6 columns are there. The first transaction is January 1st, Aman and Brothers. So the name of the company to whom we are returning is there, and 4 clutch plates at the rate of 250. So amount becomes 1000. 4 into 250, it becomes 1000. In our amount column, 1000 is written, right? So in the remarks column, we have written goods not in accordance with the order. So that was the reason. This remark column, as I already explained, will help managers, purchase manager, senior general manager to decide, should we continue purchasing from the same supplier or not. So this is the column helping you for internal policies. And on January 10th, we have returned to Nepal Car Accessories 2 brake shoes at the rate of 500 each. So 100. So total amount comes out to be 1000. So 2 brakes into 500 each comes out to be 1000, and 10 rear view mirrors at the rate of 350 each. So total amount becomes 3500. So total returns to Nepal Car Accessory is 4500, right? Now if you look at the last column, last row, it says purchase return account, right? So purchase return account credited 5500. Okay, so purchase return account credited, it's very important to note down. It means the value of this book is going to be transferred to purchase return account on the credit side of the account. Okay, so I've taken consciously only 2 examples so that I could help you to understand how do we prepare purchase return account. So I'm going to now show you the purchase return account. So here is the purchase return account in front of you. The columns in total are 8. Date, particulars, journal folio and amount on the debit side, and again date, particulars, journal folio and amount on the credit side. So if you notice in the previous slide, we discussed that purchase return account is going to be credited by 5500. So that is why in the credit side of this account, purchase return account, we have 5500s. And in the particulars columns, we are writing sundry creditors account of also by 5500. Okay, so the date here is actually January 31st. This is the last day of the month. So it means in the purchase return book, whatever the transactions for the whole month are recorded, they are in total transferred to the purchase return account by giving the reference of sundry creditors account, and amount would be 55. So this is my closing entry. So it means I closed my purchase return book by passing a closing entry where sundry creditors have been debited and purchase return book has been credited. You know, other logic behind it is that purchases are always having debit balance. Whenever we purchase, we have debit balance, and whenever we return out of it, it has to be opposite. It means it will have, purchase return would have credit balance. Okay, so that's why purchase return account is to be credited. So another two accounts would be prepared, Aman Brother account and Nepal Car Accessories account. Now Aman Brothers account would be debited and on January 1st. So the recording to the Aman Brothers account would be on the day when we recorded in the journal book. Unlike the purchase return account. Purchase return account, if you noticed, we were writing the date written was 31st December, the last day of the month. Here I am writing on the date when I have returned it. So the account is transferred to the ledger book on the very same day. So January 1st we are writing purchase return account in the debit of the Aman Brothers account, and amount is 1000. And the last account would be Nepal Car Accessories account. It is prepared very much on the same pattern as we prepared for Aman Brothers account, but the date has changed to January 10th, right? And purchase return account has been referred. Amount is 4500. Alright, so this is how we prepare accounts: purchase return account, account of one individual, buyer to whom we have, seller to whom we have returned, and purchase return account. So I hope you could have a clarity on all the concepts we discussed, including purchase return book, purchase return account, and debit note. So thank you very much for being with me for these 30 minutes. Thank you very much.